Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to Mary's Little House for Cindy's song number 2. I just started it yesterday on the ninth anniversary of our marriage. As you know, she's in heaven, but I'm still wearing her ring, and she's praying for me and helping me here on earth to continue the mission of Mother of God Ministries. I am so grateful to be here to talk to you about this holy woman, this lovely woman, my Cindy. One of the reasons why I'm having this series on Cindy's life is because people have asked me how I met her, how we got connected in the first place, and this is the subject of our second session, Cindy's song number 2. Well, I was working at the National Shrine of Our Lady of the Snows in the pilgrim department. Our duty was to welcome pilgrims and tourists and visitors to the National Shrine of Our Lady of the Snows in Belleville, Illinois. And we were to take care of their spiritual needs. Like, we would meet the buses, we would provide special masses if requested for the groups. We would hear their confessions and just anything that they needed to help them find healing and hope at the holy shrine of Our Lady of the Snows in Belleville, Illinois, that looks right over the river to St. Louis, Missouri. It's really close, and a lot of people land at Lambert International Airport and could just shuttle right over here so easily to find God under the tender and loving and motherly atmosphere of our Blessed Mother. Her whole life was to bring us Jesus, and she continues to do this, especially in her shrines. So I was there doing that, and I met Cindy there. That's where we met, in the visitor center, where we the pilgrim department had their offices, and she would come periodically to go to confession. And she when I met her, she was commuting back and forth from Texas, right on the Gulf of Mexico, up to Chicago every month to attend the healing mass and healing service of Father Peter Mary Rookie. She knew Father Peter Mary from previous occasions, and she would bring a message to the people attending his mass after the mass and during the healing service. At first, she would submit her message from our Blessed Mother, she got from prayer, to Father Peter Mary Rookie for his discernment. She would always do everything very, very strictly with Father to do so only God's work would be done, and do it well, and so she always submitted humbly to the discernment of Father Rookie. One day, she was late, and she came into the basilica in Chicago. I forgot the name of it. It's run by the Servites, the Order of Our Lady of Sorrows, in Chicago. But anyway, Father called her up, saw her come in the church, and called her up to give her message without the discerning it, not without him reading it, approving it, discerning if it's of God or of whatever, of her or whatever spirit. It's only the Holy Spirit is what she wanted, what Father Rookie wanted, of course. Anyway, well, she was amazed at that, but she did what Father said and gave her message. After everything was all over, she asked Father, well, why didn't you, wait and read the message? Of course, the circumstances were that she was late, and he couldn't have read the message. He says, I trust you, Cindy. You are of God, and I trust your message. You've never been off. So they had that kind of relationship. Both were mystics. Both had special spiritual gifts. Well, so coming from Texas up to Chicago every month, I would usually see her very, very tired, very haggard, but she would always stop and go to confession. Well, one day, she was doing this routine, and she had many times other people with her. She was just founding this spiritual family of the Mother of God Ministries, and these were people associated with her. Well, one day she talked to me, and routine confession and spiritual direction, whatever, and she really astounded me with asking me to be her spiritual director. Well, that's not uncommon. I knew her through her passing through back and forth from Texas to Chicago, Illinois. So I consented because that was my job, to help the needs of the pilgrims, the people that came to the shrine. So I consented. So that's where we got started. That's how we got to know each other that way. So I became her spiritual director, working at the shrine, and she would come through periodically to go to confession and stay overnight at the shrine motel, and then proceed on back to her where she was living in Texas, or going up to Chicago, whichever direction she was going. Well, one day she was staying. She also, after she would go to Father Peter's thing, she would come. This was first Saturday. She would come back down here and from Chicago and stay at the motel. And she had two places where she went with Father Peter Mary Rookie. Father would fly down from Chicago, and she would be at the first meeting over in St. Louis. I forget the different parishes. One was St. Norbert. I forgot the other one. But anyway, she would always attend his Mass and healing services in St. Louis. One was on Saturday evening. The other was on Sunday afternoon. I tell you, Father really packed them in, and he did great wonders in his healing ministry. Well, one time, Father, Cindy was late again. She had a group of women, with her, who were working with her to found this ministry that she was to found. One time, Father saw her come in like that one time. We were late. I wasn't there, but the women were. I was just working at the shrine, minding my own business, so to speak. We were working at the shrine, and anyway, Father called her up to introduce her before the Mass, because he always gives sort of a long introduction, welcoming the people and getting them ready, disposed for the Eucharist, for the Mass, and for the healing service. Well, he saw Cindy come in, and as he called her up to the altar, or to where he was in the sanctuary. But as he was calling her, she said, "This is Cynthia Martin." Her name was Martin then. Anyway, she's going to found a religious order of priests, brothers, and sisters. She's going to start it in Belleville, Illinois. And then he kept going on that. Now, she was just astonished that Father would say that she was working. She was working to come to Belleville, but nothing was established yet. It was only by she was living in the motel at the time, and going to establish her ministry here in the Belleville Diocese, but it was done quietly, just her friends that accompanied her, and I knew about it because I was a spiritual director. But anyway, Father made it public, and she came home just almost shaken rather, and told me when she after that healing service and in Eucharist. I said, Cindy, you know, we got to tell the bishop, the local bishop, if we're going to found a religious order, or religious family, institute in his diocese, he's got to be the first to know, and not by way of someone else, by way of the grapevine. So I called, first thing Monday morning, I called the bishop's office, wanting to see him as soon as I could. The bishop at that time was Bishop Gregory. He was a wonderful bishop. Anyway, the secretary said, "Oh, you're in luck, Father. You're in luck. The bishop has a policy for a priest to come on Monday. No appointment needed. Just walk in." So we took advantage of that. We were so happy about it. So we did. We came and didn't have to wait very long in the chancellery office. The bishop himself came in to bring us into his office and everything. Treated us very kindly. And I said, the reason why we're here, Bishop, this is Cynthia Martin. She is spiritually gifted, and God is calling her to found a religious order, an institute in the church. The bishop just was real quiet and put his head down, or looking down to his desk. And he heard that that she had purchased the house, or the ministry purchased the house. He asked a few questions about that. The house was this one right here, where she had just purchased the house. That's another story. But anyway, just keep with the bishop now. The bishop just listened, and he was thinking, what a pastor, what a good shepherd. And to have someone walk in and say that it's going to be in his diocese and everything. Then he started to concluding our visit. He says, I am very busy, and I'd like for someone from my office to stay in touch with you, and gave us his chancellor. The chancellor is the one who runs the everyday runnings of the diocese. The chancellor. Well, I knew the chancellor. He's a good friend of mine. And I was so happy that he assigned us to him. So he's still the chancellor to this day, and he's aware of our work and everything, and we're in a process to determine the process of formation and everything. We sent 2 rules to him already. It's an ongoing work in progress, and he's a canon lawyer, so he knows all about how the right rules of religious orders or religious communities up. Anyway, the bishop was very gracious, and so right now we're in the process humbly, and we have a new bishop who is very gracious to us also. We're working to kind of keep him informed, aware of what we're doing, especially through the chancellor, who's a very good friend and a gracious and generous helper in this endeavor. But that's how we met, and that's how we got connected. There's a lot of other stories around all this, but I would like to continue in our next segment with Cindy's song. This was Cindy's song number 2. If you didn't see the first one, well, it's in the you just look up Mary's Ministry channel, YouTube.com. So it's very easy to find, and you're not connected with Facebook or all this other stuff. You won't get yourself in places where you don't need to. You just go to Mary's channel, and you could just click it there. The YouTube. And this is Cindy's song number 2. God bless you now. Have a wonderful day. Remember that song I taught you in a few days back, that everything is a grace. And when the Blessed Mother received the Archangel Gabriel, she saw everything as a grace that surrounded her, and she submitted to it, to the overshadowing of the Spirit, the angelic presence of Gabriel. Everything was a grace, and she taught us that that's the way it is for us too. And when she saw that, she just surrendered. I am the handmaid of the Lord. I am the slave of the Lord. I am a servant of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to thy word. and she submitted to that. So everything is a grace right now, and you're hearing this YouTube. And I had a little song that you'll notice the melody is from one of the songs you sing at church. All is grace.